Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's a man.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
The real question isn't whether Michelle Obama is untouchable. It's how Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld managed to obliterate her public image without even breaking a sweat. One minute, she's America's beloved book club queen. The next, she's dodging Rogan's unapologetic jabs and Gutfeld's savage one-liners like it's rhetorical dodgeball in the White House gym. They didn't just poke holes in her legacy, they tore the whole narrative to shreds and gift-wrapped it in sarcasm. What did they uncover that made Michelle go radio silent? Oh, this one's messier than her school lunch program backlash.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich people.
Michelle Obama once tried to convince an entire generation that school lunches made of wilted spinach and quinoa mush were somehow a revolution, a culinary uprising led by soggy kale and mystery lentils. That's not a health plan, it's a war crime on taste buds. And yet she strutted out with her salad tongs like she was storming Normandy armed with chickpeas.
President dies, everyone in the world shows up, and she doesn't break her vacation. It's not like she doesn't have access to a jet. Something is going on. Let's speculate.
Yes, please.
It's either surgery.
Oh.
That was my least controversial thing.
Depends what kind of surgery.
She will not sit close to the dictator. And by that, I don't mean Hillary, I mean Donald Trump. Or there's trouble in paradise between Barack and Michelle. I've heard things. I'm not going to substantiate that by repeating these rumors on national TV like I just did. But I'm just saying it's very odd that she's not there.
Yeah, we should ask Mike.
Now here comes Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, the unlikely duo nobody ordered, but somehow the only pairing unafraid to say what everyone else is whispering behind their green smoothies. Michelle Obama's entire brand is a mix of Pinterest slogans, yoga pose, hypocrisy, and the world's longest TED Talk disguised as a legacy.
We're the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know it.
So let's get one thing straight. This isn't about hating on a former first lady. No, this is about calling out the weaponized sanctimony of a woman who somehow turned drink water into a moral commandment and a personality trait. You'd think she personally invented H2O, and all the while the rest of us were just trying to keep our kids from trading celery sticks for actual food in the school cafeteria's black market.
Michelle Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs and he likes men.
Greg Gutfeld never wanted to pass on a good political buffet, practically choked on laughter recounting the glorious irony of Michelle's crusade for health while her own parties look like Whole Foods exploded on a White House plate. Organic, yes. Edible, debatable. There's only so much you can dress up beet hummus before someone calls the police.
To see everybody having a good time, the country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Then there's Joe Rogan, a man who built a podcast empire on punching sacred cows squarely in the udder. Naturally, Michelle's carefully curated image made her the golden calf of smug progressivism. The woman flexes biceps like she's auditioning for a Marvel movie and then lectures people on the dangers of indulging in joy. A slice of pizza becomes a felony in her utopia. Rogan couldn't help but wonder, what's the calorie count on self-righteousness? And let's not even get started on her Netflix deals. Wait, no. Let's absolutely get started. Nothing screams I'm just like you like signing multi-million-dollar production deals with the subtlety of a wrecking ball wrapped in cash. Her documentary is basically a spiritual journey through her own ego, sprinkled with slow-motion shots of her walking dramatically through crowds like she's Moses parting a sea of peasants. Greg Gutfeld, being the snarky goblin of late night, had no trouble poking holes in Michelle's soft focus facade. Every time she makes a public appearance, it's less about the cause and more about the lighting. The speeches are drenched in motivational sludge like a Tony Robbins seminar held in a Whole Foods parking lot. Inspirational? Sure. Useful? Not unless you're planning to solve your life with Monogram stationery and a Fitbit.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To make these choices clear to the men that we love, our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
And we haven't even mentioned the "when they go low, we go high" line. That might be the most passive-aggressive slogan in political history. Translation, we're better than you. And here's a bumper sticker to prove it. Michelle has practically copyrighted Moral Superiority, sold it in hardcover, and is now pitching the audiobook in 5 languages. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan was over there raising eyebrows like they were weights at the gym. He's been suspicious of Michelle's magical transformation from first lady to self-help guru to cultural icon, without ever answering any real questions. Like, how did we go from lettuce campaigns to deep philosophical essays on how to find our voice? Can we get GPS directions for that, or do we just follow the scent of overpriced candles? Michelle's public image is so carefully manufactured, it makes Barbie look like a documentary. The yoga poses, the soft focus backlighting, the perfectly rehearsed, spontaneous laughs. It's like watching a living, breathing inspirational poster. Somewhere between Live, Laugh, Love and Eat More Kale. There she is, smiling with the quiet menace of someone who definitely judges your grocery.
Someone put on Instagram that Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Gutfeld had a field day with Michelle's transformation from first lady to global brand ambassador of empty platitudes. He practically needed a neck brace from shaking his head at her LinkedIn-level advice on empowerment. Believe in yourself. Thanks, Michelle. That should pay the rent. What's next? Manifest your credit score? And let's talk wardrobe. Michelle Obama's fashion choices have been praised like their diplomatic achievements. Breaking news, she wore a belt once. CNN lost its mind. Entire op-eds were written about a cardigan. You'd think she was stitching together peace treaties in the Lincoln bedroom. Greg Gutfeld asked the obvious question, since when did Banana Republic become a political statement? Then there's her memoir, a book so stuffed with journeys and truths it could double as a yoga mat. Every page reads like a motivational speech dipped in vague trauma and aspirational Instagram captions. It's less autobiography and more lifestyle blog with a hardcover spine. Rogan read it and reportedly had to go outside, touch grass, and rewatch Roadhouse to feel like a man again. So,
Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men. Right. Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football.
But you know what Michelle's most impressive feat is managing to play the underdog while living in literal palaces. She talks about the struggle from mansions with 6-car garages. It's like Marie Antoinette giving a TED Talk on minimalism. Gutfeld summed it up best. Her idea of adversity is probably running out of organic quinoa at Whole Foods. Let's not forget how Michelle positioned herself as the relatable first lady, because nothing says down to earth like customized chandeliers, curated guest lists, and bodyguards trained by Navy SEALs. She says she's just a mom, but that mom also has a stylist team, a personal chef, and a media consultant for her Instagram captions. Rogan pointed out that Michelle's public persona is like one long episode of The View without the decency of commercial breaks. Every sentence is wrapped in soft moralism and baked until it's beige. It's political tofu, bland, preachy, and somehow everywhere. And then there's her media coverage. The woman could sneeze and it would be labeled a defiant act of strength in the face of patriarchal pollen. Gutfeld mocked the press for treating Michelle like a hybrid of Gandhi and Beyonce. The glowing coverage is so relentless, it's actually suspicious. What's she hiding a carb? Rogan laughed about the fact that Michelle wants to tell America how to be healthy while the rest of us are still recovering from the trauma of school lunch apple slices that taste like packing foam. You can't traumatize children with lentil loaf and then pivot to being a cultural messiah. That's calling.
Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
And let's be honest, Michelle Obama's greatest skill is giving the illusion of doing everything while saying absolutely nothing. Every speech is a word salad with just enough croutons of meaning to convince the crowd they're eating something substantial. Meanwhile, Rogan was left wondering if the real meal was served backstage, probably by someone named Skylar wearing a gluten-free apron. Gutfeld took particular glee in roasting the myth of Michelle's unifying force, as if someone who divides opinions harder than pineapple on pizza is the secret sauce to national harmony. Her brand is less about unity and more about selective enlightenment. She's a lighthouse that only shines for those who already agree with her and don't even try to bring up her fitness goal. This woman did more to glorify lunges than the inventor of stairs. Somehow exercise became political. If you didn't want to do planks in your living room while she glared from your TV screen, you were part of the national obesity crisis. Gutfeld joked that somewhere a donut cried itself to sleep. Joe Rogan couldn't resist pointing out that Michelle Obama's persona is so aggressively inspirational, it's exhausting. She's like the human version of being forced to join a book club you didn't sign up for. Every message is a teachable moment. Even if all you wanted was a cheeseburger.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind. Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote. Remember that?